Infrared saunas.
That was enthusiastic.
Come on.
I'm excited. 12 days till the Super Bowl. 12 days till we find out if we have a new social media producer.
Well, that one's done.
It's not done.
She should survive.
We're like 6 million
locked
short. No way to tell.
No,
I mean, I would be devastated. I think Gianna's
It's
an
over,
ace,
though.
but
It's unless there's a Bears Caleb Williams-esque comeback for non-views.
Negative comeback.
Yeah, we're safe. We start with the Bills' new coach, old coach. Bills promote OC Joe Brady to take over for Sean McDermott. He had interviewed with the Ravens, Raiders, Dolphins, Cardinals, and Falcons before he said, oh, Buffalo's got a head coach open. Why don't I take that? He's been the QB coach, the OC, and now the head coach. Do you like this for Josh and the Bills?
I don't like or dislike it, but I don't understand it.
There you go.
As we have said repeatedly on this show, I think it's ridiculous to have a super strong take on any rookie head coach,
right?
Positive or negative. You can be.
You just don't.
You're right. You can be very super optimistic, like folks were about Ben Johnson because of what we thought we had saw, and then pessimistic. I don't even know who we're pessimistic about. Usually, it's just like I was pessimistic about Brian Schottenheimer because he had been an assistant for so long, but it's all kind of within 40 degrees and 60 degrees. Nothing too cold, nothing too hot. But I don't understand this one because the owner at that press conference, Terry Pegula, to me, made there are two totally unrelated but memorable moments from that press conference for me, and both of them, even though they're unrelated, say you wouldn't hire Joe Brady. So the first one is somewhat inconsequential, but noteworthy. Keon Coleman was the coaching staff's pick.
Yep.
I would argue that if that's true, the loudest voice on the coaching staff about which wide receiver to take is not the defensive-minded head coach you fired, but most likely the offensive coordinator who is going to be working more closely with Keon than the head coach. So that to me is just odd that the owner made it very clear that pick was terrible. We don't like Keon, even though Keon's on the team. And it's not the GM's fault. It's the coaching staff's fault. And to me, I read that as now the head coach. It is now the head coach's fault if it wasn't before. And the other piece of it that I will remember from that press conference is I wasn't going to fire Sean McDermott going into that game. But when I saw how devastated that locker room was, I felt like we essentially needed, and now I'm paraphrasing here, a sports exorcism, that we just had to rid ourselves of the bad vibes of these defeats. Joe Brady's been there. Now, he wasn't there for the 13 seconds. And maybe it's just but he was there for the devastating playoff loss the year after, and the year after that, and the year after that. So he's been there for the following four. So I don't get it, is my short version of it. I don't understand why, if that's what you needed to do, that you would hire from within. It's not to say he won't do a good job, but it doesn't follow the logic of why McDermott needed to go.
I get it. I don't know that I would have done it, but I get it. And what I think this does, to the degree that we can be certain, because you're right, you don't know. Even Brandon Beane said, look, we want to get a leader. We want to get a CEO, it's a CEO position. That's what we're looking for. We don't necessarily know if that's Joe Brady. We know he was a very good offensive coordinator. But I do feel confident that the Bills aren't going to go backwards. Like, I feel like at the very least, they stay where they are.
Okay.
And if they had brought in Clint Kubiak or any other, and I get it, Joe Brady's a first-year head coach too, but let's say they bring in some young hot shot or just anybody from the outside. You don't really know if he's going to vibe with Josh Allen. Is he going to vibe with the team, with the organization? So you're kind of rolling the dice, right? I think with Joe Brady having been there, their offense has been fine. Under Brady, they're generally a top 3 scoring offense. In the playoff games he was a coordinator for, they scored 30 points against Denver and lost. That's not an offensive problem. They scored 29 against the Chiefs last year and lost. Not a scoring problem. The year before they scored 24 when they lost, this is not an excuse, but he took over halfway through the season for Ken Dorsey. The 10-point loss, when they scored 10 points and lost to the Bengals, he wasn't the OC. So I can't put that on him. So I feel like the offense is just going to keep moving. It's an offense that produced an MVP season for Josh Allen, rushing leader season for James Cook. Hopefully he'll add a top-notch receiver, and I think the offense will be fine. The key is for him to get the right defensive coordinator. Now, there's some talk they're going to look inside.
No, I think they just hired him.
Or did they?
I think like 5 minutes ago. Gosh, I hope I don't get this wrong. I thought it was reported they hired Jim Leonard as offensive coordinator. Guys, please tell me if I'm screwing that up.
That hurts my feelings.
He was Denver Broncos assistant head coach and expected to hire Jim Leonard as defensive coordinator. He was the defensive backs coach and pass game coordinator for the Broncos last year, and this year assistant head coach and pass game coordinator. But he's never been a coordinator or a head coach.
So
he's a Wisconsin guy.
He's like Wisconsin legend, like undersized guy, went to the league, kind of like fan favorite.
But his first team was the Bills.
Yes. Yeah. He came and took over. Who'd they fire? I forgot who the Badgers fired. But then
Brett
he was
Bielema?
After Bielema.
Okay.
I think it was that. Yeah, after Bielema, he came in, and everybody wanted him to be the Wisconsin head coach. So he is, I think, a great coach. And as a Patriots fan, that hurts my feelings. But as a Jim Leonard fan, I'm happy for him. Dusty, can you throw up the Bills scoring defense? That was my number one question when you talked about.
DC, right?
Yeah. All right, suppose Josh Allen is even. I don't think we expect Josh to, get better. Maybe he matures or gets to another level.
He should play
somehow.
at least at the level he's been.
Let's say he's like MVP adjacent level, top 5 MVP. The Bills scoring defense, this has been a great defense. Fell off the last 2 years. I don't know how much of that is just kind of schedule luck
that bad. I mean, it's nearly top 10. But they've been
Jim
great
Leonard's
in the regular season. They
them.
haven't been able to get it done in the playoffs.
So
defensively.
So I am not as confident as you guys that this team won't backslide. And I'm not as confident as you guys, that because you promote the offensive coordinator to head coach, it has no impact on your offense. Because is he still going to call plays? That's a lot, man. Head coaches that call plays very often, the game management stuff can start to fall by the wayside, particularly first-time head coaches. When they said we wanted a CEO-type head coach, this wouldn't be the type of CEO that I would be looking for, but I thought they meant kind of a guy who has Sirianni's job. I'm not calling offense or defense. I'm over John Harbaugh. I'm overseeing the operation. If that's what they're asking him to do, then they still need a play caller. They still need a new offensive coordinator.
So what coaches some of the ones that call plays?
Well, Sean McVay, Andy Reid, it's always in the shadows. Is he calling plays or is it's Andy's offense.
A lot of his Super Bowl, he's Andy Reid, LaFleur.
No, a lot of the best.
Those are good,
But a lot of the ones that flame out too. A lot, you know what I mean?
Ben
a lot
Johnson.
of the ones that can't, that can't get it together. I'm not saying it can't be done. I have a hard time. I don't know what we attribute the Bills' offensive success to. As far as, is it just like once Josh Allen became Josh Allen, that team was going to have an awesome offense? Because when you look at Josh's numbers across 3 coordinators, so since 2020, so he really didn't become a good player until the end of his second year.
Right.
And we can give Dable credit for helping him become that player. But once he became a good player, so the passing yards have gone down.
Because Brady took the ball out of his hand.
Correct. The passer rating has been essentially the same. The rushing touchdowns have skyrocketed as they've started to do tush push and more of that. Just so everyone knows the number of games, Dable was the coordinator in this stretch for 33, Ken Dorsey for 26, Joe Brady for 41. So I guess my question is, if someone else was named to replace Ken Dorsey, and they're just league average replacement offensive coordinator. Are they going to get that production out of Josh Allen? Because, like, how much worse production would you have gotten?
Well, the thing is they got rid of Dorsey for a reason. You know,
they were 5 and 5
they weren't playing well, right? And then as soon as Brady took over, they became elite again as far as a team. So, and it was odd because he took the ball out of Josh's hands. They threw less, they ran more, but it's worked.
Domino effect here quickly before we move on. If Daboll is now out of this job, obviously, is that going to be a Titans job for him, or is that going to be Philly?
No, so the reporting is that he's taking the Titans offensive coordinator job unless he gets the Raiders head coaching job, which means out on Philly. That Diana reported
out on Philly is really confusing to me.
I agree.
Really confusing.
I would think he'd be interested in that.
Yeah, if he's not, you mean it'd be one thing if he's taking a head coaching job instead of going there.
Yeah,
but to say I'd rather be the Titans OC,
he must love Cam Ward.
I would imagine that he feels like Titans. I'm still scattered right now. Titans hired Robert Saleh.
Yes.
Correct. He probably also imagines, all right, I'm going to have at least 3 years to prove myself here. And we're talking more about the Philly thing later. I think people are worried the Philly thing is, I'm going to go there, and the head coach could be removed in a year, and then it doesn't matter what
or the OC, period.
Right.
Even if the head coach isn't.
All right, moving on to the Patriots, the lucky Patriots. Mark Schofield writing for SB Nation, how the Patriots pulled off the Super Bowl's biggest one-year turnaround ever. In it, he cites Drake Maye's ascension, free agency, the draft, coaching, and some luck. The Patriots faced the Chargers in the wild card game without their starting tackles. Divisional round game against the Texans, C.J. Stroud was more than happy to keep turning the ball over. The AFC Championship game saw Bo Nix fracture his ankle at the end of the divisional round, forcing the Broncos to turn to Jarrett Stidham. Schofield largely balanced.
I was going to say, I don't think this article infuriated you.
Not at all.
Okay.
I actually thought it was pretty fair of a jumping off point to talk about, is it fair to criticize the Patriots' path to the Super Bowl?
It's fair to bring it up, and that they had the easiest, the 10th easiest schedule of all time, and one of the easiest, the easiest schedule this year.
The easiest this century.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fair to bring it up, but honestly, right now, I don't think it's fair to criticize them for it. Because they've proven, okay, the schedule was weak. So what? We have beaten the best the AFC had to offer to get to the Super Bowl. To me, that's like criticizing Jordan Love and saying he played Division I AA, FBS. He didn't even play. Like, to use that and say he's not a good quarterback. No, he's already proven he's a good quarterback. Okay, no matter what he did in college and where he played at, he's proven he's a good NFL quarterback. I think that's the thing for the Patriots, because the path is, I've said it ad nauseum, you've gone through 3 of the top 10 defenses in the league. The Chargers, Justin Herbert legitimately made the Pro Bowl. One of the 3 quarterbacks to legitimately make the Pro Bowl in the AFC. And they've played without their true offensive line all year and still won 11 games. So that's the Houston was probably the best defense in the league. C.J. Stroud had 2 interceptions in his first 5 playoff games. He had 4. Now, look, C.J. was terrible. But I got to give the Patriots some credit for that.
Yeah.
I mean, the defense, had him shook. And then Denver, look, obviously they were playing with a backup quarterback, but it was in snowy conditions. And that one, okay, if you want to say Jarrett Stidham, fine. But I not to mention, Nick, 3 great coaches they went through. Harbaugh, Sean Payton, and DeMeco Ryans. Like, objectively great head coaches. So, I mean, I can't hate on it at all.
So, I don't actually think the regular season schedule matters at all anymore. I don't think people will remember that. I don't care about that.
Right.
Like, I just don't think it. Like, the only reason, and I like to think, you guys can watch trivia online when we do it on every Wednesday or Thursday. I have a pretty encyclopedic memory of football. I had no idea the 99 Rams had the easiest schedule.
No, I'm always shocked.
I had no memory of that whatsoever. I do remember playoff games and teams you faced.
Right.
And I don't think the Chargers in round 1 is an easy matchup. I think that's about a league average, 2
Playoff
versus
match,
6 playoff matchup. You're not going to face a perfect team. Like, they had some strengths, they had some weaknesses. You guys made them look awful. And some of that might be Herbert's own failings, whatever it is. Houston, none of us thought that was going to be a walkover game. CJ, I give some of the credit to your defense, and some of the credit seemed like CJ short-circuited. Right. But again, you guys forced it. Being the first team ever to face a quarterback who hasn't taken a snap all year in a conference championship game is unique. Like, that's
very fair.
And it's why you guys were the first road favorite of that much in a conference championship game. All those things, like, that is a unique historical outlier piece of it. But that's just one of your games. So here is how I would phrase it. I think if the Niners had made the Super Bowl and the path was in Philly, then in Seattle they win it, then in Los Angeles, it's like, man, that is a gauntlet. If the other 2 seed, the Bears, had won the gotten to the Super Bowl, it's like, oh, okay, you played Green Bay, then you played Stafford and the Rams, and then you went to Seattle. That would, I think, fairly be considered a tougher path than this one. But I actually, KW, think the path and the regular season schedule will only matter in one very specific circumstance.
Can I guess it?
Yeah.
If we get smashed in the Super Bowl.
Correct. If you win the Super Bowl, literally no one will care.
Yep.
No one will remember.
Oh, I don't know about that.
If you
If we win the Super Bowl, I'd be like, Sam Darnold.
No, listen,
I think
KW,
the talk will be 4 incredible.
But if Sam Darnold melts down, it'll be like, oh.
KW, when you
went through 4
say
great
the talk,
defenses. That's what it'll be.
and this is advice for Kevin Wildes, advice for viewers, and advice just for every human being alive.
Oh my goodness, let's buckle up.
Please stop treating what are likely bot accounts as real human beings.
There are a lot of political bots out there. There are not a lot of Denver Broncos bots.
Listen, KW, there will not be anyone with a credible voice if you guys win the Super Bowl saying, like,
if
you
we
will
win
have
the
to,
Super Bowl,
right? If you,
I can mute that.
Right. If
That's
you win
fine.
the Super Bowl, it won't
just
matter.
be haters. If
I would argue, if the Super Bowl is a great game, and you guys lose, like how the Rams lost a couple days ago, I don't think people will say,
no,
yeah, buts.
No.
If you guys get clocked,
we're not getting clocked.
I know you're, but I think you guessed it. If you guys get, and I think you'd agree with me, if they get clocked in the Super Bowl, then people will be like, good team, pretty lucky schedule plus Bo Nix, probably not quite a Super Bowl caliber team.
And they'll
That's
also
the only
be
scenario.
like, the AFC was horrible this year. That's what they'll be like.
Right.
Because would we rather Jarrett Stidham and the Broncos?
Right.
So can I just say one thing about the Denver Broncos? And maybe I am talking to Denver Broncos bots.
Yeah.
You know that meme, speaking of being online? I know that's not who I think it is, talking. Denver Broncos fans, slow your roll when you start talking about backup quarterbacks. Talk about why that game was in Denver, why the Broncos were the #1 seed. The final week of the season, the Chargers rested everybody. The Chargers rested everyone. So you got to play Trey Lance and got a free win, so we couldn't have the #1 seed.
Who did you guys play the final week of the year?
We played whoever was on our schedule. I think the Jets or the Dolphins.
It was the Jets and their backup quarterback. But go ahead.
But they fielded somebody. The Chargers were purposely losing that game to rest. Hold on, let me go.
Sorry.
The week before that, they go into Arrowhead and play not Patrick Mahomes because he was injured, and they barely beat Chris Olajuwon. The week before that, Trevor Lawrence lights them up. The week before that, they are losing by 2 when Micah Parsons, the best player, defensive player in the league, gets hurt, and then they score 2 more touchdowns and win that game. So just hold on you guys got injury luck against your opponents with the Patriots.
The bots have really gotten under
the bots got to me. The bots got to
KW, nobody
Hey, it's a fair to criticize the past.
KW, your monologue there against Broncos fans tweeting at you.
Impressive, though.
I mean, I appreciate the memory, but I just
settle down, Broncos fans.
If Brew or I tried to give that type of history lesson on things that actually were relevant, and we're like, in the week before that, you would do your
I just
little.
don't want to hear it. I just
buddy,
can't,
no,
I'm
can
just
I tell
done
you
hearing it.
Nobody's hearing it but you.
I'm done talking
You're
about it.
okay,
That's
good.
it. I'm done.
All right, that's
you guys would have lost to the Packers if Micah Parsons didn't get
Okay,
in.
good, buddy.
From now on, I'm just talking about the Seahawks. Called the Shedeur Step of Destiny.
Shedeur Step of Destiny.
Drake is in the Super Bowl, so Shedeur steps into his Pro Bowl spot. Curious? Kind of. Drake, Herbert, and Josh Allen were the original starters for the Pro Bowl games. Mahomes, Daniel Jones, Bo Nix, all hurt. Trevor reportedly opted out, and we haven't heard from Burrow, Lamar, CJ, or Aaron Rodgers.
They had to opt out. I don't know about CJ.
Well, they
The
only
other two
named
had to be
4
in.
official alternates, and then after that, it's fuzzy.
So we don't even know if Burrow's like, don't
Yeah,
even
once
ask
you get
me.
past the named starters and the 4 alternates, then nobody really knows how they decide who
So
to invite.
here's Shedeur's numbers on the season.
They're not
bro.
great.
35th there's not that many teams.
36th is worse.
I don't even know what last is.
37.
We just keep going. Oh, 37.
37th, is that what last
Yeah.
was?
Yeah, last is 37. So it'll be Shedeur in the Pro Bowl games. Your reaction?
Well, look, you guys know I like Shedeur. I pull for him. I hope he does well. I think he's got talent. I think he's earned a chance to be the starter next year.
Yeah.
That said, this is embarrassing. Not for him, for the league, for football. Like, this is terrible. This has literally become a participation trophy. I mean, that's what it is. And he's not the first. Remember a few years ago, Tyler Huntley threw 2 touchdowns, had 3 interceptions, and a 77 passer rating, and was a Pro Bowler. And my point is, it belittles and cheapens the honor of being a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, it's kind of gone.
It's terrible. And so, look, if I feel bad for the old guys that made it, that earned a Pro Bowl spot, because now we look back, well, did he really? I mean, everybody's a Pro Bowler now. This is crazy. And
it's
here's
this
the thing.
position specifically.
Yes.
It's quarterback more than any
Mac
of the
Jones,
others.
Trubisky, I think's made
Tell
2.
them the Mac Jones stuff. Right, here we go.
Well, but the thing is that what they should do is just name the Pro Bowl team, the official Pro Bowl team, and that's it. And if they need to fill out the spots when they play,
That's fair.
you know,
Yeah.
hopscotch and hide and go seek in Orlando or whatever
Do
it
they
is.
play
I mean,
hopscotch?
whatever they do. All right?
That would be pretty
Run
sick.
wind sprints, whatever.
Hide and go seek and hopscotch
Get-
actually was pretty sick. I actually
Get
like
guys, right?
Yes.
Bring them there. Give them a free trip to Hawaii, Orlando,
Exactly
wherever
right.
they do. But you are not a Pro Bowler.
That-
This is, and here's the final thing, and you alluded to it earlier, Nick. You and I look at this stuff. This does affect Hall of Famers. I said yesterday, Matthew Stafford's only been to 3 Pro Bowls.
Yes.
So does that weigh into his Hall of Fame case? Yes. And so you mean after he's played 17 years, Shedeur after 1 season
Half a season.
is 2 Pro Bowls behind Matthew Stafford? This is ridiculous.
So everything you said is correct, and it's such an easy fix. Because, by the way, for the majority of NFL contracts and for 5th-year option incentives, it's named to the original roster. They have what you're talking about. It only clicks in if you're on the original Pro Bowl
for the
roster.
contract.
You know, for most contracts, depends on how they're written, but most, and all 5th-year option stuff, you don't get the bonus if you're an alternate. Okay. So this is an easy fix and an easy win, and I call on someone in the NFL league office and the archives office and someone at Pro Football Reference to say, hey, we're going to fix this bookkeeping error. We're going to go back as far as we have access to the archives, and you are only being designated a Pro Bowler if you were named on the original ballot. And moving forward, you are only called a Pro Bowler. You only get the little star on your Pro Football Reference page. Hopefully the wiki editors, which do a really good job of this, keep it with that. if you are named to the original roster. Because it is really just bookkeeping is what we're talking about. None of us care if Shedeur is at the event.
Right.
None of us cared when Tyler Huntley was at the event. What we do care about is because so much of sports, as silly as it is hypothetical historical arguments. Yeah. It's who was better, this guy or that guy. Who's the best players of an era. We need an agreed upon record of events. Right. And so they can fix this. So just make it to where you only are a Pro Bowler if you were named the original Pro Bowl. That's it. Sorry for Mac Jones.
So when he hit the gritty.
He hit the gritty in the Pro Bowl, but he was not a Pro Bowler.
What would you call him?
A participant.
In what?
Because when they did his contract,
yes,
they're like, no, you didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Correct. it literally.
But what? He's a participant in what?
He was a participant in the Pro Bowl. But just like someone who sits in a seat filler at the Oscars doesn't mean they were nominated for the award of the person who got it.
2018 draft class featured several stars. Baker was at 1, Darnold at 3, Josh Allen at 4. Shout out to Josh Rosen, made the graphic, and then Lamar at 32. But Darnold is the first quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl. Greg Jennings is here with us. Welcome, Greg. Nick, we'll start with you. What do you think this means for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson? They still haven't gone to the Super Bowl.
So I actually want to hear what you guys think, because I think for Josh Allen and Lamar, Darnold isn't the person that's in the Super Bowl, that it impacts them the most. I said that awkwardly. What I'm saying is, I think Maye making the Super Bowl has more of a reputational impact on Allen and Lamar than Darnold does.
I think
because I don't think people, I don't think fans are like the 2018 draft class. Exactly. Like what's going? And so I don't know where you guys.
No, I think that's a great point you made. And look, I think this is a great feather in Sam Darnold's cap because he was viewed as a bust. Now, Josh Rosen was in that draft. He's out of the league. Yeah. But outside of like Baker, Lamar, Josh, Darnold was like the worst quarterback by a mile. He was the one that was a bust. The other two are winning MVPs. Baker resurrected his career. So I think this is nice for him. Like people talk about, okay, he's really arrived. Mm-hmm. But to Nick's point, it means nothing for Lamar and Josh. Nothing at all. Like he's not in their class. Nobody's going to think. Now, maybe he will. We'll see what he does going forward. Right now, nobody in the right mind thinks Sam Darnold's better than Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen.
I mean, that gap is narrowing, however.
It may have narrowed a little, but not much. I mean, is Jim Plunkett with two Super Bowls and Eli Manning with 2 Super Bowls better than Dan Marino?
Listen, outside of the winning and the statistics, it's like,
He's not even close to an MVP. I mean, they've won. Lamar's won 2. Josh has won 1.
I'm just saying, the guy is putting up great numbers. He's top 10 and everything. You had the graphic, and he's currently in the Super Bowl. I just don't think it's like Sam Darnold. I don't think we can do that anymore.
I'll open the door to going forward. Maybe he'll really catch those guys in 3 years or whatever. But no way. Like I can't imagine anybody's looking at Lamar.
I have written down, it doesn't mean anything in terms of being a knock on Lamar and Allen. And I'm kind of with Nick, like, because of, I don't know if I'm with you yet.
You usually are.
Like, when I look at Sam, like, this is to your point, a feather in his cap because he's the king of the second act now.
Yeah.
Like, because none of these guys, like Baker, it was initially
the guy in his draft class who it hurts the most oddly
Baker.
Baker.
Geno was the first guy that made the transition, and it was like, oh man, Geno resurrected his career. And then it was Baker Mayfield, and then it was Sam Darnold, and now neither one of those two prior to Sam had actually done this with their team. Sam is now that guy, so he will be that guy that we all point to. But in terms of Josh and Lamar, it's just with Drake Maye and this Patriots team now going, and Drake being in his second year, it only shows how difficult a road is going to be. And I don't know which one of us have said it, might have been you. Somebody's not getting one.
Period.
Yeah. Somebody's just simply not getting one. You can throw Joe Burrow in that group as well. Like, I know the different draft class, but that's what Drake Maye getting to the Super Bowl means.
And so this is this is what this kind of ruins, and doesn't ruin, but it takes question in a different direction, but it's the same genesis of topic, I guess. I look at this quarterback matchup in the Super Bowl, Darnold Maye, and not that, man, Darnold got there before draft mates Allen and Lamar.
Yeah.
I look at it as, man, that big four that we talk about, that really, to be fair to Matt Stafford, he showed this year, should have been a big five of Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, Stafford. Drake Maye, and he has not played well, in my opinion, this postseason, but he was so good in the regular season, and he has kind of the reverse working for him that Darnold is working against him. When you're young and you've already been this excellent, that's a supercharge as opposed to being older and having bad years of football behind you. I think the big loser is Joe Burrow. I think that if I'm making a QB top 5 today, Joe Burrow is out and Drake Maye is in. And because it's also that Burrow's, the biggest calling card for Burrow's career was Mahomes made 5 out of 6 Super Bowls. Who's the one guy else who made one? Me. And now it's like, well, 2 guys have made one, and yours was 5 years ago. And this, this
5 years ago, it seems crazy.
But that's what it was.
And then they missed the playoffs the last.
I mean, I guess it was 4 calendar years ago, but 5 seasons ago. And so like that to me is what it is. To the point you were making, KW, Darnold would have to play at the level that he did this year again.
One more, yeah.
And then I can start entertaining him in the Allen Lamar era.
No, I'm not really putting him there.
In the Super Bowl?
I just don't think it should be.
You mean the season? Next season?
I'm saying if next season Sam Darnold's team wins another 14 games, he has another 4,000 yards, he has a 100 passer rating, and it's 3 straight.
I think you won't even have to wait. It'll be halfway through the season.
I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt if we do that, because when we look at Josh, we look at Lamar, we look at the guy in kind of in a vacuum of his skill set. Yep. And so we automatically, because of their ability, separate them because of how great they are throwing the ball and how dynamic they are running the football. So naturally, it's like how you would categorize quarterbacks.
Superhero civilian.
Exactly. We would still keep Sam Darnold in kind of a civilian because we don't feel like he has the athletic ability and the skill set that these two. Now, he's done a number of evolving as a quarterback, growing, going through adversity. The second act, that's all Sam Darnold. I think he should get a tremendous amount of credit for not giving up on himself, for being able to sit behind guys, learn, go to other systems, absorb, learn, carry that to Minnesota. Then when he gets with KOR, gets a great opportunity, strikes gold there, and then they are like, we're not going to pay you. Go to obviously Seattle, and then does it again when we all were still doubting him, because we said, let's see if Sam Darnold could do it again this year. Guess what he did? He did it again this year, and now he's in the Super Bowl, and we're still saying now, let's see if he could do it again another year. We'll keep doing that because his skill set doesn't.
I agree with the skill set thing, but at some point the accomplishments start like this. And again, it's not like he would just be winning games. His numbers
have been great,
have been really good.
And that's, where it's like, the guy was a great recruit out of high school.
There you go.
He was a top. You know what I like? Like his pedigree is not nothing.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? And we're just gonna be like fold the Jets.
Bears OC Declan Doyle.
Exactly. I agree.
Withdrew his name from consideration for the Eagles OC job. He's returning back to Chicago to work with Caleb. Philly's still waiting to find an OC. What's anyone's theory on why the Eagles haven't filled this spot?
They think Sirianni's a lame duck, and they don't want to move to Philly for a year to then lose the job. That's what I think. I mean, here we go. They have talked to or been connected to Mike McDaniel, Brian Dable, Zach Robinson, Bobby Slowick, Declan Doyle, Mike Kafka, Arthur Smith, Charlie Weiss Jr., and those are people we know are not taking the job. They have been connected to and or talked to Jim Bob Cooter, Josh Broussard, Matt Nagy, Frank Smith, and my old pal Gerard Johnson. Those people might take the job. We don't know. That's 13 people. This is an A-list franchise. They spend a ton of money. You are in cosmopolitan, cool city, tough city, I understand. But, like, I think Philly is,
right.
you know, if you were a better than average NFL city as far as, like, oh, I'm going to move there and have a good life, all those things. But I just think people are like, man, I'd rather, as Brian Dable just showed, go to Tennessee, where Robert Saleh just got hired, where I think he has a long leash, where we can grow together, rather than go to Philly, where I think the head coach is on the hot seat, and if he gets fired, you almost always, the whole staff. I understand the Bills just promoted the offensive coordinator from the fired coach, but that's pretty rare. That's my read on it.
Well, I think it has to be either that with Sirianni and maybe not respecting him, you know, the not liking the way he acts, all his histrionics and stuff, or Jalen. Like, to me, those are the only two possibilities. I get it that the city's tough, but it's a great sports town. If you're a head coach or a coach and you're afraid of the Philly fan, come on, you're not worth the job anyway. So I think it's got to be either Sirianni or Hurts. And obviously I like Jalen Hurts. He's proven he can win a Super Bowl. There was some reporting out of Philly that, you know, he does his own thing and changes plays or whatever. So we're guys worried about that, not throwing as many intermediate passes. Like, do they feel he has certain limitations that they can't overcome? I don't know, but it's got to be either Sirianni or Jalen.
Sirianni. And for reasons different than Nick, and I say Sirianni because if you're an offensive coordinator, to touch on your point really quick, and you know the natural progression is offensive coordinator, have success, possibly get looked at to become a head coach. That's the natural progression. Same with defensive side of the ball. In this situation, you have all the skill guys. You have the personnel. Every coach believes, man, if I had that, I would be able to make something out of that. And so naturally, I don't go to the ideology of, man, a coordinator is going to be like, man, Jalen Hurts. No, because the coaches that aren't in the room with Jalen Hurts believe I can get more out of that guy. Every coach feels like they can get more out of somebody else's talent. The reason why I say Sirianni is because he seemingly has his, naturally, he's the head coach, has his hand in things to where if I'm coming in as a coordinator, it's either going to be this is what I'm bringing and we adapt and I bring on some of the old terminology and some of the old things that I feel like would marry well, or you're telling me this is what you're going to get. And this is how you're going to run. This is how you're going to.
At least some of the guys would have full control of the offense.
So, but
the OC.
And you can say that. However, coaches talk just like players talk. Hey, man, how was your experience? Was it just you? Were you running the offense?
Oh, man,
did Sirianni
in those meetings.
Did Sirianni have any say that it's just different when you're actually in a system? I just find it hard to believe that a offensive coordinator seeing that type of talent, obviously there's some unknowns about is AJ going to be there, how it looks moving forward, but it's still a very talented roster offensively saying, nah, I don't want to chance my career on that. That's just odd.
I'm with you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.